Have you ever had that moment whilst taking this medication where you step on the scale and the number has gone up,
What?
and the first thought that hits you is, it stopped working? Because that's exactly what's happened to me recently. I've been tracking my food, I've been doing everything the same, nothing's changed, and yet the scale went up £4. Hello everyone, and happy Saturday to you all. I'm Manda's Midlife, and I've been taking Mounjaro for 8 months now, and in that time I've lost over £70. This channel documents the highs, the lows, everything in between. If it's good, you get to hear about it. If it's bad, you get to hear about it. If it's downright awful, like today, you're going to get to hear about it. But I'm injecting 7.5 milligrams into my belly every single week, apart from 2 weeks ago when I injected into my leg, and I'll never be doing that again. This video is my weekly update and Q&A session where I attempt to answer as many of the questions that you've sent in as possible in a non-medical professional style. Literally a chubby middle-aged man sat on the edge of his bed doing the best he can to share what he's learned in this journey over the last 8 months. And this week we are going to start with the Q&A, and we're going to get straight into the questions in a few seconds. So we haven't got a huge amount of questions this week, but we'll get through the ones that we have got. And if you do have a question to send me, if you want to hear me try and bumble my way through the answer, leave it down below in the comments and make sure you mark it Q&A, and I will read it out on one of my Saturday Q&A videos. The first question though is from Linda Scanlon 2638 Q&A. I'm close to my goal and plan to stay on the meds at a low dose or spread out the dose, but I have a looming fear of gaining the weight back or losing access to the meds. Do you have those fears? How do you stay in the present and not worry about it so much? I'm exactly the same as you, Linda. I worry about it all the time. Anyone that's ever lost weight, and that's myself included, I've always put it back on, and I don't understand why taking Mounjaro would potentially make that any different, if I'm honest. So yeah, I do worry about it. It's always on my mind, so I'm not probably the best person to ask about staying in the present, because it is, that fear of regain is probably on everybody's mind. If they say it's not, I'd imagine they're probably telling a little porcupine, because it does loom over us all, I think, and it is a worry, but we've just got to do the best we can, and that's the main thing. And when I get to go live, I've got a plan for maintenance, and I have done a video on that in the past, and when I get to maintenance I'll probably do another video on it. But you just got to do the best you can in the situation you're in, and hopefully you'll be absolutely fine. I certainly don't lose any sleep over it. I'm not stressing and worrying about it, but I know that sort of fear is always there, and I'd imagine you're feeling exactly the same, but just do the best you can. And next up, we've got a question from Scott F2199, and he has asked a few questions in the past, and I do appreciate that, Scott, so thanks very much for your support. Question for your Saturday Q&A. Here in the US, the Zepbound, same as Mounjaro, the quick pens have just been made available. People say it's identical to the UK Australia version you are using. My question is, will the pen give you more than 4 doses? People have the option of getting these from Lilly direct, but if you microdose and you expect to be able to get more than 4 doses, they will be very disappointed if they can't. Appreciate any clarification you can provide. Now, I'm not sure whether you're going to be getting the new stock or the old stock in the US. If it's the new stock, it's very likely, so it would seem, that you're only going to be able to get 4 doses out of these pens, because the little bit of research I've done shows that in April, and it's been quite well documented over probably the last 4 or 5 months, that the manufacturers aren't keen on the whole golden dose situation. So from the 1st of April in the UK, allegedly, all the new pens that are being shipped out are going to be 4 dose pens. They're not going to have that little bit of extra for priming the needles that a lot of people take as a golden dose. My gut feeling would be that that's the pens you're going to get in the US, because I can't imagine for 1 minute they're going to be shipping out a 5 dose pen, or willy and nilly, because at the end of the day, it boils down to money and it boils down to profits for these manufacturers, doesn't it? So keep me posted, Scott, because I'll be really interested to know when they do start shipping in the US, if they haven't already, which pens you're actually getting. And I'll do the same here in the UK for everyone watching. Right, and we have got 3 questions now from XXL to large. And if you haven't already, check out his channel, give him a subscribe, because his videos are just getting better and better, and he's on the same journey we're on. And yeah, really interesting. So we've got 3 questions, and we're going to go through all 3. I'll do them one by one. Do you think the biggest change on Mounjaro has been physical or mental, and when did you first notice the difference? That's a really tough question to answer, and I wish I never asked it. I wish I kept it back for another week now. The physical changes have been mental. They've been absolutely beyond anything I expected when I started taking the Mounjaro. So I can, stand testament that the physical changes have been huge. And if you've seen my before and after pictures, then you'll know that, and you can see that physical change. The mental change, not as huge as I hoped. And if you watch some of my early videos, you'll see, yeah, I'm here, I'm going to learn all these new habits. And this is, once you start taking it, you got to just realize that you got to do this and you got to do that. Not convinced in the slightest. I think the medication obviously it controls my appetite and the food noise. And I think without that medication, I'm going to be old me again. I'm going to be the greedy little boy that I was, that was 22 stone 11. So not convinced by that at all. And the next one is, was there a moment in your Mounjaro journey when you felt mentally different? Not just physically, like your relationship with food or with yourself actually changed? Again, it's pretty much the same question, isn't it? I do feel mentally different because I can leave food, I can walk away from food, and I'm not in the fridge at 10 o'clock in the evening like I was previously. Again, I think my gut feeling is that's the medication. It's not me, it's the medication. So as much as I maybe in older videos gave it the big one saying I've changed, this has affected me mentally, looking back 8 months in, I don't think I have. And we'll see when the time comes, when I reach go, when I reach maintenance and I start reducing my dose, we'll see, won't we? So watch this space on that one. And can you describe the exact moment you realised Mounjaro was changing how you thought about food, not just your weight? Again, really closely related to the previous 2 questions. It's all based on the medication. The way I think about food or don't think about food now, it's all medication based. When you look at stuff like the relationship with, I was massively into chocolate. I was a chocoholic, I guess. Nothing beats a Cadbury's Dairy Milk, does it? All the English viewers will be fully behind me on that one. I think when I come off the medication, I'm going to start wanting Cadbury's Dairy Milk again. It's as simple as that. I do appreciate your questions, and again, if anyone's got any questions for next Saturday's video, please pop them down below and mark them Q&A. It's all very much appreciated. Quickly, before we move on to this week's weekly update, where you'll get to find out all the horrors of this week for me, I get asked a lot where I get my medication from, and at the moment I'm using a company called Bolt. If you're in the US, they are called Fella Health, I believe. I've been really happy with them. The process is straightforward. The support has been good. Everything is handled online, which makes it simple. If you're looking into it yourself, I've put a link in the description, which is going to give you a £30 discount. Obviously, you do need to do your own research and you need to make sure it's right for you. But a lot of people have asked on the channel, so I thought it's worth mentioning. So once again, the links for Bolt if you're in the UK and Fella Health if you're in the US, down below in the description. Right, so let's do this weekly update, shall we? And brutally honest, open and honest and frank, that should be the name of the channel, but it's not. It's Mando's Midlife. I had the shock of my life this week when I stood on the scales, to the point where I actually thought I was being pranked. Now, for the first time in my entire journey of over 8 months now, I stood on those scales and I had put on a massive amount of weight. I'll be so blunt about this. I have no idea what's gone on. No idea whatsoever. I've tracked my calories like I would every single week. My hydration's been fantastic. My protein's been fantastic. And before you say it's because you've been to the gym and you've put on muscle, I've not been to the gym this week. I've not been to the gym once. I've no idea what's gone on. All week I've kept to my calories and I've really been on top of my game, and I was in total shock when I stood on the scales. The only food I've had this week that I would say wasn't particularly healthy was when I went to the cinema to watch that new Elvis documentary. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't seen it, get yourself to the cinema. It's absolutely amazing. So I went to watch Epic, and I had a pack of Skittles. Now, I get there's calories in Skittles. It's not like I was eating pizza all week and I was eating pasties all week and I was full on carbing it up. I literally lived what I would call a clean Mounjaro week, and it's absolutely blown my mind. So if you've got any ideas, please leave them down below as to what's happened. And I'm hoping when I step on the scales next week, there'll be some kind of correction, and it's just been a bit of a wobble by the scales and not a wobble by me, because yeah, it's blown my mind. So it's been a great week with really poor results. It is worth mentioning also that the food noise has been absolutely fantastic. The appetite's been absolutely fantastic. So I'm not using that as a sort of contributory factor, because I've not been munching. Food's not been playing on my mind, and I've certainly not been what I would call secret eating. Everything that's gone in this gob of mine has gone onto my app, and it's the first time it's happened, and that's why it's worrying me so much. Next week I am away for a couple of nights in London, so if I'm going to get this correction on these scales, I need to make sure I'm at the top of my game whilst I'm staying in a hotel for 2 nights, and that is going to be tricky. We'll see what next week brings, and we will take it from there. But if you could all have your fingers crossed for me, that would be very much appreciated. And while we're talking about appreciation, I want to say thank you to everyone that's supporting the channel. Thank you to the members. That means the absolute world to me. Thank you to everyone that's ever liked one of my videos. And thanks for everyone that's subscribed to the channel. There are still a lot of you that watch these videos that aren't subscribed to the channel. So if you could subscribe, that would be amazing. Stick your little bell thing on, do some hype and all the other crazy weird stuff YouTube expects you to do. I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you ever so much for spending a little bit of time with me. And I will pop a few videos on the screen now where you can watch my entire journey, pretty much from 3 months all the way through to now. And if you enjoy watching a man sat on the edge of his bed waffling, you are in luck. But thanks again, really appreciate your support, and I will catch up with you on a Wednesday.